to 3:30 a.m. for the program. Business Store insights into the world of business as we profile successful Liberian entrepreneurs in and out of
All thanks and appreciation to God Almighty who has spared our life to see this wonderful 20th day of July. Of course, is 6 days to Liberia's 177 independence celebration. What a great way to start up the program on Love FM 105.1, carry live on Joy Africa, Smart FM in Zweju, and of course other platforms. We are also streaming live on our Facebook page, Love TV Live, and on our online radio, Love Radio, loveonlineradio.com. This is where we give you ideas to carry on your business activities. If you have love for the business um, environment and wanting to venture, you need some key points so that you get to be a successful person in business. But whatever it is, this is the platform that sets the agenda for business discussion. Without much I do, I have my co-pilot, Mr. Alkina R. Phillips. He's here with me, and jointly we're gonna handle things here to inform you, educate you, and give you the opportunity to weigh in on the things that will be discussed for the growth and development of your business and our country at large. For my end, good afternoon, Mr. Phillips. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Rufus. It's great to be back on the show with everyone today. Everyone from Zwedru to Upper and Lower Margibi, across the city of Monrovia, and all of the other areas. We just want to say, I just want to say thank you for joining the show today and participating in the show today. And it's always a great thing to celebrate our nation's independence as we're 6 days away from that. It's a great time to be a Liberian, to amongst all of our challenges. But the best thing out of it is that we are the first republic on this continent, and we have, like any other country, we have a lot of growing to do. We have a lot of expansion to do, development to do. Development is a continuous process. But at the same time, it's a great time for all of us as Liberians to unite, that celebrate who we are and our nations and our founding fathers and all of those who have been here even before the founding fathers got here, the indigenous people. And it's a time of coming together. And diversity must be our strength. It cannot be a weakness, but it must be our strength, as diverse as a nation as we are. And that's what makes us Liberians. We're diverse people from many counties, many tribes. But at the same time, we are Liberians. Even if you are a naturalized U.S. citizen or European, citizen from a different country, Canadian, when you open up your passport, is right there, nation of origin, Liberia. You're a naturalized citizen of the U.S., but at the same time, where you're originally from is still there. So it's a time to celebrate, reflect on where we've come from and to where we are today. And it's an exciting time. So happy July 26th to everyone back home. And we here in Houston will be celebrating as well, coming up this weekend.
Indeed, it's a wonderful way to begin the discussion. On last Saturday, we had the time to review our lesson, and it was quite interesting, though you weren't around, but you did follow, and it's up to speed that you're going to take the folks from where you stop and take us through on our new topic. If there's any addition to our old topic, then we can rumble through and inform our folks on what it takes to do business and what are the do's and don'ts, getting them to a point where they will understand and appreciate by tuning into Love FM and following all the platforms like Joy Africa, Liberia, and you also have that is in Mike Gibby. You have Smart FM in Zoeju and other platforms around, joining us and carrying us live on those various platforms. So it's all yours, Mr. Phillips.
Well, again, we're back to it again. Once again today, we're back to business talk, talking about business, talking about growth. I listened to the show last week. Rufus, he did an outstanding job. Rufus covered a lot of very important topics, and as we said from the beginning of this program, of this launching of Business Talk on the on Love FM and Love TV, this is something that if you are an entrepreneur, you are a business person, small business, medium business, big business, you want to participate in this show. You want to listen to this show. Why? Because this show will give you, we don't claim to know everything. We don't claim to understand everything. We don't claim to be the owners of all knowledge and understanding. But what we do say is that there are some nuggets, there are some very important points on this show that you can take away. You can listen, you can learn, and it will help you to grow your business. Because at the end of the day, we are moving the President Joseph Yuma Boaka and his Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn, and any future leadership will be focused on one thing, one agenda: development, economic expansion, national development, creating jobs, providing opportunities, and stimulating this economy so that the size of government must be reduced, and the size of the private sector must be increased. So that's not politics. That's just a fundamental truth. Every leadership that will come into government to lead this country, to direct this country towards its future, the future will be based on this fundamental truth. We will focus on economic growth. We will focus on national development. We'll focus on creating jobs and providing opportunities and improving the well-being for Liberians all across this country. So that way, all Liberians will be able to benefit from the growth and development in this country. And the only way to do it, is to increase the size of the private sector and reduce the size of government. Okay. And by doing that, the only way that can be done is when we have a very enlightened, a very educated, a very informed, and a very teachable private sector, be it small business, micro business, medium-sized business, and large business. So they will be the ones who will actually write this down to be the engine of the Liberian economy. They will be the engine of the Liberian economy. Joy FM in Kakata is relaying the program live all across Upper and Lower Margibi. Flash FM in Zwedru is relaying the program as well. So we've got wide coverage. If you're a radio station that's listening in your area, please, if you want to relay, just let us know. We can get you the link. So we want to really, Timothy all the way in India is listening as well. We want to spread this knowledge, improve this knowledge. Alexander Chumte from Ghana is also watching as well. So, again, so that's why we do the business talk once a week, every Saturday, across Liberia, across the internet. So it's going global. And the private sector of every country is the engine, write it down, is the engine of economic growth. The private sector of every country is the engine of national development. The private sector is the engine to create the numbers of jobs that will help to build this country, attract the diaspora, okay, in the US, Canada, the EU countries, to come back home and move this country forward. So as some of the topics Rufus talked about last week to help each of you, one of the most important topics he talked about last week was customer service. He talked about customer service. And at the end of the day, right, when you start a business, how you interact, how you engage your customers will be very important, Rufus, let me just catch myself on one point here. We said at the beginning of the show, we're going to be doing a pop quiz. So this is a pop quiz for those who listen to Rufus' show and listen to my last show. I'm going to ask a question here to everyone, and this question is worth $10 payment by Sendwave. So here's the question. When I was on this show the last time, we talked about business plans. We talked about how important business plans is. And I want everyone, whoever knows the answer, please put your answer on Facebook. Please put your answer on Facebook. So we talked about last week, one of the things I talked about the last time I was on the show was about business plans, how important business plans are to any business, be it a small business, a medium-sized business, a large business. But there was another point I made about business plans. And I said what? Business plans are great, but business plans do not work by themselves. What will make a business plan work? Can anybody give me the answer to that? Okay, you can write a business plan. You can write a great business plan. You can put all your KPIs in the business plan. You can put all your Excel spreadsheets in the business plan, your capital expenditures, your operational expenditures, your admin X. But what will make the business plan work? That's the question. What will make a business plan work? What will make a business plan work? So we will ask that question. We will not wait. We'll continue with the show so that those who know the answer can put the answer up on Facebook. And that question is worth $10. Okay. Okay. So answer that question. What will make a business plan work? You write a business plan. You write it, you studied it, you put all the different parts in there, admin X, operational X, cost of running the business, the administration, the equipment you need to buy, how long, your revenue source exists. You do all of that. But what will make a business plan work? You write a business plan, but what will make the business plan work? So let's continue on. From those, let me just end these 10 points, and then we can move on to some other topics that I have for everyone today. So the last topic, we talked about the 10 keys to the business. We talked about you must have passion. We talked about you must have knowledge. We talked about experience. We talked about setting specific goals, your KPIs. We talked about vision. And then we talked, I think with the last thing we ended on was your mission statement. So when you start a business, whether you do scratch cards or sell fish in the market, convenience store, provision shop, cyber cafe, communication center, money changer business, motel, hotel, whatever the case is, guest house, You must have a mission statement. The mission statement basically sets the agenda for what it is you want to do. It sets the agenda. Whether you have a intellectual center where you've got drinks for people and you've got people coming there to sit down and talk about the issues of the day. The mission statement helps you with direction. The mission statement helps you with focus. The mission statement must be unique. It sets you aside or sets you apart from every other business out there. Your mission statement is very, very important. Always have a mission statement. The mission statement is what will help you and it will guide you as you're moving forward. It will always help you and your team to remain focused on what the agenda is for that business, for that company, for that endeavor. Your mission statement is very, very, very important. So whether you are writing, I mean, even if it's a Saba Cafe, even if it's a hotspot, even if it's a guest house, what is the mission statement? Then that mission statement is important. Why? Because it helps you and all of your team members, right, to remain focused on what the vision for that business is. So when you have your meeting in the morning, you start your day with a meeting with your team, and you always make sure that everybody remains with your business, with your mission statement. They say it, they repeat it, you go over it, you burn it into their minds so that everybody knows what the direction is, what the focus is, and what sets you apart from from every other business in that market. So that's what mission statement is. Let's go to the next one. Number 7, master plan. You must plan. Okay. A business without a plan is a plan of no business. Write that down. A business without a plan is a plan without, is a business. A business without a plan, right? Okay. What you're basically doing is you're planning not to do business. So you must have a plan. You must have a master plan. And that plan can cover 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. It can cover 12 months. It can even cover your 5-year plan. But then you break it down, like we talked about the last time. You break it down to your yearly plan. You break it down to your quarterly plan. You break it down to your monthly plan. You break it down to your weekly plan. And then you break it down to your daily plan. And that helps you. It keeps you on track so that your goals, right? Your goals, you can then achieve your goals. No matter how big your goal is, right? We talk about shooting for the stars, right? You shoot for the stars, right? That's a long range plan. But you're not going to get there in one day. You're not going to get there in one day. So that plan may be a 5-year plan, but then you have to break it down year by year, month by, quarter by quarter, month by month, week by week, day by day. So that way, okay, that's how you eat a sandwich. When you're sitting down, you get a big bowl of rice before you. You don't just take the whole bowl of rice, open up your mouth and pour it in. You go 1 spoon at a time. And then over 1 hour, 30 minutes, you've eaten all the food. And that's how you achieve your goal. No matter how big the goal is, it takes time to achieve the goal. And that's what you do is you stick to your plan. You come home in the evening, you take your bath, you end your day, you write your notes, your mistakes, how you correct your mistakes. You review your plan. You look at what you sold for your sales for the day. You reconcile, you compare it to what your goal for the day was. And then you say your prayers, you go to sleep. And then the next morning, you review what your plan is and you go out and you execute. So the mistakes you made on Monday, you don't make the same mistakes on Tuesday. The mistakes you made on Tuesday, you don't make the same mistakes on Wednesday. So by the time the week ends, you've corrected yourself. And it's important that you have a plan. So planning is important. Planning is important for any business. So even if you're a money changer, what's your plan? What is your plan? What is your plan? Okay. Even if you're selling fish in the market, even if you're selling vegetables in the market, even if you're selling rice and beans, a small business, it doesn't matter because small business is what is the engine of the Liberian economy. Okay. So planning is important. Planning is important. You must plan. And then behind that plan, there must be a strategy. Okay. You don't just wake up in the morning, put money in your pocket, take a bath, get dressed and get in the car and take off. No, there must be a strategy that you can implement so that that plan can be successful and produce fruits for you. Okay, so write that down. You must have master plan. And behind that plan, there must be a what? There must be a strategy. There must be a strategy, so that is the strategy you carry out every day to execute your plan. Write that down. Master plan. And behind that plan is a strategy that you carry out every day so that you're successful in achieving the goals and the objectives of the plan. Okay, so having a master plan for your business, no matter how small the business is, you must have a master plan. Okay, number 8, we talked about this briefly, but let's go back into it a little bit more today. We talk about the team. Number 8 is about the team. It's all about the team, right? Because I always like to take business topics and connect it back to scripture. Because as mighty as God is, right, manifesting in the flesh in Jesus Christ, as mighty as Jesus was, he had to go out and pick 12 disciples. He had to build a team to carry out, right, to teach them. And then upon his departure, he said, what? You go out now, you've received it. Now I've taught you. You go out and you carry out and you do all that I have taught you with the power that I've given you. So this is all about the team. So in business, right, whether how big, no matter how small you are today, the team that you put together to build, to execute, to carry out your plan is very, very important. And I talked about the fact that you don't want any scorpions on your team. You don't want no snakes and no vipers on your team. You want to make sure that your team members will work together with you. And this is a very important topic. So write this saying down. Teamwork makes every dream work. Teamwork makes every dream work. Teamwork makes every dream work. So it's important to build your team. Your team is very, very important. It is important that you build your team so that team will be able to help you to carry out your plan, help you to implement your strategy, and help you to produce the results from your plan and have a successful strategy. Okay? So it's very, very important. Your team members, you have to select them. You don't just get up in the morning and say, I'm going to bring all of these guys as members of my team. No, that's not how it works. You want to make sure you have the right team members. You build the right team, because that dream that you're trying to carry out, that team is going to be very, very important, because they will be there to support you. They will be there to help you to carry out different things in your strategy and in your business plan. And they will also make sure to help you to keep everybody in the vision that we talked about, which was number 5. So building a team, whether you're just a money changer, the guy who you've got, who can help you do different things, set up the booth in the morning before you get there, plug your cables, plug your wire to guide, your team for your cyber cafe, the team for your vegetable market, the team for your small barber shop, the team for your small restaurant, or we'll call it the Kobo place. Okay, that team, the team that goes to the market to buy the produce and the meat and everything, bring it back, the team that sets up the coal pots and the stoves and get everything ready, the team that cleans, that team is very essential to executing the business plan and making sure that the strategy you have is successful to produce the results, to produce the revenue, okay, that the business needs, so that the business does not die, that the business continues to live from day to day. Okay, very, very important. Your team, because the team, write this down. A good team will make you, and a bad team will break you. Write it down. A good team will make you, and a bad team will break you. So when you see a lot of businesses fail, and you see a lot of businesses collapse, and you see a lot of business just die and go under, always look at the team members. Whether you're in an organization, is always the team members, the core members who help with what? With the vision, the master plan, setting the specific goals, the experience, the knowledge. Okay, it's always that team that will bring about the downfall of the organization or the business, or that team will help to what? To grow, to build, to expand, and to lift up that organization or that business. So that's why it's so important for you to build the right team, to always focus on building the right team. Team, team, team. So write it down. Very important. A good team will make you. A bad team will break you. And then the second key point, teamwork makes dreams work. Okay. So every member of the team, okay, let's go a little bit deeper again. So when you're building the team, okay, when you're building a team for your business, very important. When you're building your team, you've got to be very specific. Okay. You got to be very specific. You can use these very same 10 points to apply to your team members. Why are you bringing John onto your team? Does John share the vision of your business with you? Or are you only bringing John because John is your friend? And like I said before, in business, right? Write this down. Very important point. It may come up. Everything I tell you to write down may come up on the pop quiz, worth for $10 or US. Okay, so write down these points. When I tell you write it down, that's just an indicator. It may come up on the pop quiz. Okay, very important. Write this down. When you are an entrepreneur and you decide to go into business, you need to understand, very importantly, there are certain decisions you make with your heart, and there are certain decisions you make with your head. And you've got to learn how to separate the two. The right hand must not know what the left hand is doing, because when you mix those things, then you're going to destroy your business. So very important. In business, there are certain decisions you make with your heart. And in business, there are certain decisions you make with your head. The business decisions you're making with your head because they are not emotional decisions. Emotional decisions come from your heart. So let's just say, for example, you got your friend Paul. You and Paul, you guys been living in Nuclear for a long time. You guys used to ride, play, football on the field there and all that kind of stuff there. And you guys grew up together. You went to school. Paul went to school, whatever the case is. And you open up your business. Paul didn't take that route. Paul went to do something different. So now you got your business. You started up with one money changer booth, and now you got 5 booths in different parts of Nuclear. You're controlling a good portion of money exchange, Lone Star, Orion scratch cards. You got your payout, mobile. You got a decent business going, and then you got you're using that business to pay your rent, fuel your car, your wife's business. You fund your wife's business. You're moving forward. And Paul comes to you, and Paul says, "Look, my man, I need your help. We've been, and Paul takes the emotional road into your heart, right? He takes the emotional road into your heart to tell you, look, my man, we go way back. We grew up in this place together. You're my close friend. But man, it's rough on me. I need to borrow some money. I need to borrow about $500. My children are out of school. I can't pay my rent. And things are just really bad on me. So what do you do? And the only money you can give to Paul is from your business. It's from your business. And you already know that if you take this capital out of your business, you're going to create a hole that Paul is not going to help you to fill. And when you remove this money, when you extract this money from your business, right, it's going to cause a lot of complexities, a lot of problems in your business, because it's going to affect your operating costs. It's going to affect your administrative operation. So what do you do? And that's where I'm saying you have to make decisions with your head in business. And then the other decisions you have to make regarding family and everything else, you make them with your heart. You cannot mix the two. So that's where maturity in business comes about, where you have to separate the two, because that Paul, helping Paul, there's a way to help Paul and there's a way to assist him, but you cannot do it to the detriment of your business. You cannot kill yourself to save somebody else. Okay. The things that you did, the opportunities you had, the sacrifices that you made to get to where you are, there's nothing wrong with helping people, but you've got to do it in a very, very wise way when you're a business person. Okay. So again, your team, you don't just want to bring people onto your team because you've been knowing them for a long time. What level of knowledge are they bringing to your business? When you bring that person onto your team, are they going to contribute as a good team member? Okay. Are they bringing knowledge? Are they bringing experience? Then at the same time, you'll have to also understand what bad habits are they bringing into your business. Are they bringing good habits or are they bringing bad habits? Because like we always remember, right? We always say this, right? One bad apple, one rotten plantain in the bag of good plantain will what? Will contaminate, it will destroy the entire bag of plantains. We understand that. So that person you're bringing onto your team, what baggage are they bringing with them to contaminate, to destroy the rest of your team members? Okay. So building your team is very critical to the success of your business. It's very critical to what? To the promotion, to the growth of your business. It's also very critical to the what? To the health of your business. Okay. So team is very important. Build the right team. Build the right team. Everyone cannot just be there for the sake of being there. Okay. Everyone cannot just be there for the sake of being there. No, everyone must have a specific role on the team that contributes to the overall business so that at the end of the day, your strategy that you're implementing, what role in that strategy does everybody have? Every team member must have a specific role, right, to play in executing, carrying out, and performing, right, and delivering on the strategy. Every team member, you don't just add people to the team simply because, Mary brought Alice because she and Alice close, and then, Alice needs a job. So boss man, can you please hire Alice? So, what's the contribution here? What is the contribution to your business? And that's a decision you're going to have to make with your head as opposed to with your heart. Okay, so your team, your team can, and like I said, remember that point, right? A bad team will destroy you or break you. A good team will make you. Okay. So important, so very important. So teamwork makes dream work. So your team should be the nucleus, right? We all did science and biology, right? The nucleus, okay? So in that nucleus, that's where the team operates. And even within that team, there are other people who you can depend on, rely on, and have confidence in executing the plan. Your operational people, your administrative people, okay? So building your team is so important. Okay, it's very important. So let's go down to number 9, accountability, right? So let's connect accountability to successful business, small, medium, or large business. Let me just get a drink of water here. Accountability is the next point. Who is accountable for what? Who on the team is accountable for what in the strategy? Who on the team is accountable for what in the strategy to make sure that we deliver on the plan? Who on the team is accountable for what in the strategy to deliver on the plan to ultimately deliver on the vision, the goals, and the objective of this business? Accountability. Write it down. Accountability is very important. It's very important. People must be held accountable. A good team member is one that accepts his accountability in his position to carry out and execute his duties, his tasks, and his work. Okay? So you've got to make sure when you're building this team, right? You make sure you write down every team member, and you write down the what? The responsibilities of every team member. And then you write down the job description / the position that every team member is in. So you don't just run your business from your head. No, you've got to get a notebook. Get a notebook, right? Get a notebook. Go and buy a 1 subject, 2 subject notebook, right? Get a notebook. And that notebook should be almost like your Holy Grail or your Bible, if I can put it that way, okay? That book should have all of your notes, your comments, okay? Your recommendation, your business plan is in that book to make sure that you're carrying things out and you're detailing them as you go from day to day. You've got to have a book. So when you come home at the end of the day, right, you write in there, you can take if you buy a 5 subject notebook, then you can break it up into, every page is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, and all the way throughout the week. So that way, when you end your day, you can come home and you put your note, the mistakes you made for the day, what your sales was for the day, what your profit was for the day, the problems you had for the day, how you address those problems, who gave you problem on the team, how did every team member, you can put your team member's name there, so you put a comment beside every team member, and you're making sure that the next meeting, you want to bring those things up so that in the morning, you know exactly how you're starting your day. Accountability is very important. So when you build your team, every team member must be accountable for a specific job / a specific task / a specific area, right, of responsibility in your business. So that when it comes to collecting money, John is the one responsible. So you want to also draw out how you want John to collect the money and report your money. So who's going to be responsible for making your deposits? Is John going to collect and make the deposits? So you must make sure that you have a trail, okay? Is who's responsible to go out and buy the vegetables in the market every day, the vegetable and the meat in the market every day, and get it back to the place there before 9 o'clock so that the cooking can start? Who's responsible to make sure that all the coal pots are clean and washed? Who's responsible to make sure that we have enough charcoal for the week? Who's responsible to make sure that the restaurant is clean, is swept, is washed down, all the tables are wiped? Who's responsible to make sure that all the dishes are washed? You've got to write down everybody's name and then everybody's area of responsibility, and you hold them accountable for what their job is. Okay, accountability. Who is accountable for what? Write it down. On your team, in your business, who is accountable for what? And who is accountable to who? So important. Very, very important. Very, very important. Who is accountable for what? And who is accountable to? And the next thing is, who is accountable to who? If you own a Kobo shop, a small Kobo / restaurant, so you must have a manager there who you can hold accountable for making sure that things are done. And then you may be a good cook. So you want to make sure you're overseeing all the food, the preparation of the food, but you're not the manager, you're the owner, right? You can own the business because you know how to cook, you know how to prepare the food, okay? But you may not be the best person to manage money. So what you need to do, that's how you need to balance, right, what your passion is and what your expertise is, okay? Not because you own the business means that you know how to manage the business. So you got to make sure that you have the right people to be accountable for every aspect and every area of the business.
I'm going.
That's my lovely wife there.
I'm going to work.
Love you, big. Have a great day. So it's important that you want to make sure that you have team members, right? You describe every job for every team member, and you want to make sure that every team member has a clear job description. Okay, who's responsible for what? And you want to make sure that they're held accountable. That's the next thing. Write it down. Every team member who's accountable for a specific task, duty, or responsibility or area of operation in the business, they must be held accountable. So if you know the restaurant is going to open every day, if you know the restaurant is going to open every day at 11:30, you know that every day your Kobo shop is going to open at 11:30 to start preparing and preparing food for everyone. Then you want to make sure that whoever the person responsible to clean up, prepare, set the tables, that person, you must tell them, say, look, I want all of this done by 11:15. You don't want it done by 11:30. 11:30, the door's open. So you want to make sure that 11:15, everything is done, so that the restaurant manager will then be able to use the 15 minutes to kind of walk through to verify that everything is in place. You get my point? So it's important that, and then when you have your next morning meeting, make sure you have meetings every time when possible. I'm not going to say to have a meeting every day. You run your business, you know your business, but you want to make sure you have either your monthly meetings, you have your weekly meetings, you have your daily meetings, so that the mistakes are caught early. One, those who are responsible for those mistakes must be what? They must be held accountable. That's where accountability comes in. Because if you don't hold people accountable and apply the proper corrective measures, they will end those team members. Again, don't forget, a bad team will destroy you. They will end up destroying that which you are trying to build. So you want to make sure that people are held accountable. People are held accountable. Make sure that people are held accountable. Okay, accountability is very important. Okay, even if you're holding people accountable, but then who is accountable to who? So you have your restaurant manager, if you have a Kobo shop. Okay, so I own a Kobo shop. I put the money into the business. I don't know how to cook. Okay, I'll burn all the food, but I have the money. I have the $10,000, and I say, you know what? I'm going to go out there, rent me a place, and set up a nice Kobo shop. So I need to have a good cook. So I write down my plan. I need to have somebody who can cook the food. Somebody who knows how to cook the food. I don't only want one person. I want at least one or two persons. I need minimum one, but maximum 2 or 3 persons, so that if one person calls in sick, we can't shut the place down because our cook is out sick. So you've got to be able to be creative and understand the dynamics of it. So you must have redundancy built in. Okay. So accountability is important. Who's accountable for what? And who is accountable to who? Why? Because a good team will make you, a bad team will break you. Okay. And then number 10, write it down. Positive work environment. Positive work environment. You've got to have a positive work environment. The working environment for your team must be positive so that that positive work environment will help you to produce the results that you need, right, for your business. A positive work environment will help you to produce the results that you so desperately need, that you've invested your money in. Okay? A positive work environment. So how do we build a positive work environment? You've got to, again, it comes down to accountability. Who's accountable for what? You got to have a team that's cohesive, right? We all did science. We all did science and physics. Cohesion. We've got to have a team that works together. Every team member doing their part of the work, doing their part of the job to produce the results. So you must have a cohesive team, because a cohesive team will work together and produce the results that are needed if the environment in which they are working is a positive work environment. Okay? Write it down. Positive work environment. Positive work environment. A positive work environment is very, very important. How do you create a positive work environment? How do you create a positive work environment? The way you create a positive work environment is based again on your team. It's also based on your master plan. It's based on your strategy. It's based on your mission statement. It's based on your vision. You want to also make sure that positive work environment, you have people of character, honesty, okay? So that everybody executes and everybody carries out their part of the work. You want to make sure that people who are accountable for different things are held accountable. And if they create situations and conditions that challenge the team, that challenge your business, that challenges what your investment is, you must be prepared with your head, not with your heart, to execute judgment on them. If they have to be suspended, suspend them. If you have to cut their pay, cut their pay. Because at the end of the day, you can create negativity. You can introduce negativity into your business because you don't hold people accountable. If you don't hold people accountable, then what happens? One bad apple that you don't hold accountable will now start to corrupt the rest of the team. And then you have a negative work environment. And then what happens? Your business starts to suffer as a result of you not holding people accountable. So holding people accountable is a major component to having a successful work environment, positive work environment. Okay? Holding people accountable is very important to having a positive work environment. You want to make sure that in this positive work environment, what makes a work environment very positive is when you hold people accountable, right? One, and you make sure that ethics, okay, let's talk about ethics here to create this positive work environment. Ethics, 1, reward, 2, punishment. So you got to be ethical in your dealings. You've got to make it clear to your team. When you've got people working as a team, let's say you have a cyber cafe. You've got a cyber cafe. So people are coming in, they're buying the tickets. They're browsing based on time. Okay. Then you also have somebody there managing the printing side of the business. You've got somebody there helping with the word processing side of the business. You've got somebody doing the Excel spreadsheet. So when business people come and say, look, man, I don't know how to do my spreadsheets. I need someone these are my daily sales. So every day I will come here, I will bring the daily sales, and I want you to please put it in my workbook to create a workbook for me. So no problem. So you got people doing different things. You got somebody focusing on PowerPoint. You got somebody focusing on Excel. You got somebody focusing on word processing. You got somebody focusing on the printing. Then you got somebody focusing on the Wi-Fi, connecting people when they come in with their laptops, their tablets. And then you got people connecting people on the desktops. And then you got somebody collecting the money. There's got to be ethics in your business. The guy who's buying the papers and the supply, the printing supplies and everything else, he can't be taking money and going and buying poor quality ink, and the ink is finishing every day simply because he's eating $5 every time he goes and recharges the ink. That's unethical. So what are you going to do with Peter who's doing that? Do you fire him? How did Peter get on the team in the first place? Did Peter develop that habit there, or did Peter bring that habit with him? So you got to have ethical people working on your team. There's got to be ethics in that environment to make sure that that environment remains positive to produce your results. Okay. So we talked about that. So ethics, okay, honesty. You got to have people who are honest. I'm not going to talk about trust. I'm going to talk about being honest. So that's why it's important your master plan, right? And your strategy has to be so that you write things down and you have your workflow. Write it down. You must have a workflow for your business. When people walk into the Cyber Cafe, the first thing is, again, what Rufus talked about last week, customer service. Who's the greeter? You must have a greeter. So by the time somebody walks in, you engage them. You walk into them, you say, look, welcome to Express Cyber Cafe. Thank you for coming to visit our business today. Did you come to browse? Do you want to connect to the Wi-Fi? Do you want to use one of the machines, or do you want to do word processing? And the person will tell you, say, well, I came just to browse and I've got my own laptop and my tablet. Okay, no problem. So, and then you hand them off to the person who is doing all of the ticketing to help that person get connected. And the next person walks in. So the greeter has his or her job to just connect, welcome people into the business and hand them off. That's part of your workflow. The next part of the workflow is after the person is handed off to whoever the connection technician is, to connect that person's laptop or lead them over to a machine, to a desktop machine to connect them. That person knows exactly what to do. The next thing part of the workflow is nobody in the cafe accepts money except only one person. So that way there's accountability to who is responsible for collecting the money. Okay. It's important. It's very important to have your workflow, because your workflow, right, will support the positive working environment, accountability, ethics, honesty, okay, and punishment. When people do the wrong things, you've got to punish them, because you got to hold them accountable. Because if you don't hold them accountable, it will affect your positive working environment. Okay. If you do not hold people accountable, what is going to happen is you are going to affect your positive working environment. So that is so important. That is very, very important. Making sure that you maintain a positive working environment, right? With honesty, 1, ethics, 2, punishment, 3, and let's go to number 4. What makes the working environment positive? You must be able to have some way of rewarding your team members. Very important to maintain a positive working environment in your business. So let's say you have your Kobo shop, okay, or you have your money changing booth. You got 5 or 6 money changing centers, mobile money centers across the city. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you've got 5, 6, 7, 8, or 10 money changing centers across the city. So you want to set targets for each one. And the person who does the most transaction and the person who generates the most revenue every week, you want to reward them. So that when you reward them, that creates the motivation for the other members of your team, right? So that they will be able to meet the objectives every week, thereby helping you as a business, as a company, to achieve your weekly, your monthly, your quarterly, and your yearly objectives. It's so important. It's so important. So ethics, honesty, punishment, and then reward. You must have a system of rewards. So if you have a Kobo shop, for some reason I'm on Kobo shops today. Maybe it's because I'm hungry. So let's just say you have a Kobo shop, and you say, okay, every day I want to make the target for the Kobo shop is 500. It's $250 every day, equivalent in LD, right? So every day we must do $250, because at the end of, when we do that for 6 days a week, at the end of the month, we'll be able to meet our operational budget, meet our administrative budget, and be able to be profitable, so that we can put aside savings or whatnot. Okay. So let's just say for the week, you achieve it. So how do you reward the team and motivate them to continue not only meeting the objective, but what? Going past the objective. When you implement that in your business, what it does to the business and the team members, it creates a positive working environment. It helps with accountability, right? Because the only way you'll be able to meet that objective is when everybody who is accountable meets up to their responsibilities, right? The only way you will meet that objective every week of $250 or every day of $250 a day in sales, right? Okay. It would mean that the team is working together, because don't forget, a bad team will break you, a good team will make you, right? So, and then when you meet that objective every day and every week and every month, what does it mean? It means that your master plan and the strategy behind your plan is being executed and with great performance. That's why the results are coming forth. So very important, positive working environment. You must have ethics, you must have honesty, you must have punishment, and you must have reward. And when you do it that way, then your team members become what? They become motivated, and they remain and they stay motivated. So even if someone wants to convince them to join another company, they will say, no, I don't want to go there because I like this positive working environment. I like the reward system. I like the punishment system. I like the planning that's with this business, because all of us are working together as a team, Okay. Very important. Very, very important. Very important. Okay. Very important. So let's move on to something else that I was thinking about in preparation for this show. So let me just read some of the comments here. If anybody has any questions, you can write them on Facebook. You can write them on Facebook here, and I'll kind of go over some of the comments here. Rufus Delbo is saying that he's watching and listening from Brewerville, Liberia. Thank you, Rufus, for watching the show. Alex Chumpty says she's watching from Ghana. Alex, thank you for joining the show all the way from Accra. If you can spread it on that side, that would be great. Timothy Moloba is watching all the way from Gujarat, India. Timothy, enjoy your time over there in India. Have more people to listen to the show there. Jusu Hassan watching all the way from Margibi County, Liberia. Great. Timothy Moloba again. Thanks, Mr. Elkanah Al-Phillips, for his unending love and patriotism towards the economic development of our dearest country. Thank you, Timothy. Jusu Hassan again. What about people that are listening on VIRE Radio? Okay, people on VIRE Radio, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. We welcome you to Business Talk. This is all about business, teaching, educating, enlightening, and bringing knowledge and understanding to small Liberian businesses so that they will grow, they will listen, and they will learn from the teachings on the program. Samuel Colley Jr. following from India. Samuel, welcome to the show. Rufus Kai, I'm following from Kakata. Good, Kakata resident. Rufus, thank you for listening to the show. A great shout out to you. Spread the show on your Facebook. Let's bring in more listeners. Jusu Hassan, how will listeners call in? When Rufus comes back on the show, he will provide the phone number for people to call in. Rufus Kai, he's following live. McClinton Glade, a business plan is a document that outlines a company's goals and the strategies to achieve them. Is valuable for both startups and established companies. Yes, indeed. But the test question today was, what makes the business plan work? Thank you for the great definition. But what makes the business plan work? Nobody has answered the question today, Rufus. So I think we will keep our $10 today. No one has answered the question. What makes a great business plan work? The question is still on the floor. What makes a great business plan work? Samuel Colley Jr. again, a successful business plan requires clear objectives, thorough market research, detailed financial planning, a unique valuable proposition, okay, a solid marketing and sales strategy, fine, efficient operations, fine, a qualified management team, fine, risk mitigation, adaptability, and a well-defined execution plan. Man, this guy must know a lot of words. Great articulation, great explanation, as Samuel Colley. But you still have not yet answered the question: what makes a good dynamic business plan, as Mr. Samuel Colley Jr. here has described? What makes it work? Mr. Samuel Colley Jr., that's my answer. No. Great try. I won't, beat you down. You tried greatly, but that was not the answer. Emmanuel Strong, I'm listening. I'm following live. Thank you, Emmanuel. Jusu Hassan, he come back with a try. The business plan should explain your business strategy and your key goals to get to where you are now to where you want to be in the future. It is aligned with your goals. That's fine. That's all about a good, a good business plan, but that's not the answer. Emmanuel Strong, you need to set objectives and goals. It has to be clear. That is still not the answer. Thank you, Emmanuel. Rufus Delbo. First, a person should know what business they want to venture into. Look at the market demand. Very good point, Rufus, but that is not the answer. Jusu Hassan, we need details for others that are following via radio, via local radio stations. They want to call in. Okay, Mr. Rufus will be giving the phone number for people to call in. Jusu Hassan said, learn, brother. That's very good. Rufus, your plan should explain your business strategy and your key goals to get from where you are to where you want to be in the future. Very good, but that is not the answer. Alexander Trumpe, well said, Mr. Phillips. Indeed, the human capital is indeed the most important component of a business. I agree, but that is not the answer to make a great business plan work. Rufus Delbo, correct. Accountability is sure. Alex Trumpe, our regards to Queen Phillips. Yes, the Queen is here. Alexander Trumpe, it has been my weakness in business for years, not being able to hold people accountable and actually hit the table hard whenever they breach the framework of the house. I have allowed emotion to take over. Emotions and logic must be balanced. Very, very good point. And that point is, it's central to being a successful businessman. You got to know what decisions to make with your head and what decisions to make with your heart. If you don't learn to separate the both of them, then what will happen is your whole business will cave in. Liberian News Network, thanks for following the platform for relaying business talk. Radio J, Africa, Kakata, Radio Zota, and Smart FM. Thank you guys for relaying the program. Love FMT team for following the business, following the platform for relaying business talk. Joy Africa, Kakata, Radio Zota, and Smile FM. Thank you guys for relaying. We greatly appreciate you. This is all about teaching young Liberian businesses, small, medium, and large, how to grow their business. Okay. And then Jusu Hassan, 600 plus viewers. Are you serious, Rufa? Jusu is saying that we have 600 plus viewers on the platform today. I don't know where he got his numbers, but Jusu, if you can send us a snapshot, we'll greatly appreciate. Rufus T. Diabo strategy. So nobody has answered the question today. So the telephone numbers that you can call in directly, you're calling in to Love FM. You're not calling into the local radio station that you're listening to. You're calling directly into Love FM. So the telephone numbers are 0887 105105. The Lone Star number is 0887 105105. The orange telephone number to call in directly onto the show is 0778 665073. Once again, the orange telephone number is 0778 665073. So nobody has answered the questions today, Rufus. Nobody has answered the questions today. So for some reason, I guess the question is hard, or maybe people didn't pay attention. But, what makes a great business plan work? No matter how much time you spend on writing it and doing your Excel spreadsheet, your marketing strategy and all of that, what makes a great business plan work to produce the results that it has been written to produce? That is the question. Go ahead, Rufus.
Hello. How are you? What's your name and join us from where? Where are you calling from? Let's hear you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Hello. Hello. How are you? What's your name and you join us from where? Let's hear you. Thank you. Get those calls coming on 0778-665073, 0887-105-105. Those are the numbers to call and form part of the program. Business Talk right here on Love FM 105.1 and carry on several platforms on the internet. So wherever you are, get those calls coming through on 0887 105 105, 0778 665073 are the numbers to call. While we are with the calls, Mr. Phillips.
Well, one of the topics I wanted to kind of briefly touch on today is the fact that the last time I was on here, I kind of touched on it a little bit, but I want to kind of expand on it today. Small business is the engine of every nation's economy. Small business is the engine of every nation's economy. You know, if you look at the number of small businesses, if somebody from the business registry could call in today, they would confirm that the number of small businesses being registered every day, every week, every month, and every year at the business registries greatly outnumber the number of big businesses. So the small businesses in our Liberian economy, in the Ghanaian economy, in the Nigerian economy, in any economy, outnumber the number of big business. Now, when you look at the number of small businesses so large, I mean, in terms of numbers of them, right? Then you can also consider how much revenue those small businesses turn every day. So small business revenue generation or capitalization in the local economy is way greater than the big businesses, right? So when you compare the Mittal Steels and the Firestones and the Golden Berylliums and everybody else, when you consider how much revenue those big businesses, when you consider how much revenue those big businesses generate every year, right? So if we take a piece of paper, we draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, if we put all the big businesses, the Golden Berylliums, the Firestones, the Mittal Steels, and whatnot, if you put them on the left, and on the right, you list all of the small businesses all across this, Monrovia, every county. The number of small businesses in terms of revenue generated or transactions every day, every week, every month, every year is far greater than the big businesses. Okay. But where does the problem lie? And this is very important for all of us. That's why this show is so important. That's why this show is so important. So I want everyone to understand this. The big businesses on the left-hand side of the paper have these 10 points. Okay, they have these 10 points. They've made these 10 points the holy grail or the Bible of their execution and their operations every day and in their formation, okay, every day. And they make sure they stay to these things. And that's why they are more efficient, they are more productive, and they produce better results, and they hold people accountable. So everything on these 10 points that all the big businesses follow, they all follow the same things, but they execute it to so much of a perfection that they're more profitable, they're more efficient, and they're more productive, and they produce better results. So their losses are less and their profitability is greater. Okay, let's come on the right-hand side. The right-hand side of the paper has well over 100,000, 200,000 Liberian businesses, from Maryland County to Grand Cape County, from Montserrado to Lofa, from Montserrado to Nimba. You've got well over 200,000 small, medium, large Liberian businesses there. But what's the problem? The problem is these 10 points aren't being carried out, number one. There's no efficiency, there's no productivity in how they execute their business, carry out their business, perform their business. So as a result of that, they have greater losses, less profitability, far less efficiency in their operations. So how then can the greatest number of businesses in the economy play a greater role in the economy? It simply can't happen. It simply cannot happen unless that large number of business people learn, listen, and grow with understanding the key concepts to help their small business to be efficient, productive, and profitable. And that's the key. The more efficient, the more efficiency you introduce into your business by carrying out these 10 points, the more productive you will become, and the more profitable you will become, and the more of a factor you will be in your local economy and in the economy of Liberia overall. So that's the objective of the show: to teach, to educate, to inform, to enlighten Liberian, small, medium Liberian businesses all across this country. Because you're small today, but who's to say by the end of the year how big your business will be? So the size of your business, whether it will be in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, depends on how much you listen, how much you learn, and how much you grow with these strategies by implementing them in your business every day. This cannot be something you do once a week. You have to do it every day. You have to carry it out every day. You have to implement it every day so that it will produce the fruits for you every day. And that's how you grow. You don't go out in the bush, clear the place, plant your cassava, and don't come back in 6 months. No, you go there every day to make sure you remove the weeds. You make sure you build a barrier so that the groundhogs don't come and eat your cassava. And you show up there when it's time to harvest your cassava. It's the same thing as your business. It starts off as a seed, and then you plant it, and then you nurture it, and you take care of it. You water it for it to grow, and then you come for harvest. So it's the same way. You've got to listen, you got to learn, and you got to grow. So the small businesses across this country, those who are listening to this program, we appreciate you very, very much. And we hope that we're contributing to help you to grow and play a very meaningful role in the Liberian economy. You're small today with one Kobo shop, no problem. Just stick to the 10 points, the 10 objectives, and the other things that we teach every day, because small business is the engine of the Liberian economy. It is the engine of the Liberian economy. But the reason why we're not having a greater effect in our local economy, in our little town or city, or in the county is simply because we're inefficient, we're unproductive, and we're not profitable. So as a result of that, we're not producing the proper results. So that's what this show is all about. That's what these teachings are all about. Over to you, Rufus.
On the following numbers: 0887 105 105, 0778 665073. With barely 5 minutes to go, let's get your calls coming through on 0887 105 105, 0778 665073. This caller, hello. Good afternoon, your name, and you join us from where? Koto, let's hear you. From 2 to 3:30. 2 to 3:30. Yeah. Seminars. But firstly, what are you producing, or what's a product? Okay, listen to Mr. Phillips. He will enlighten you. 0778 0887 105 105, 0778 665073, 0887 105 105 are the numbers to call. Mr. Phillips.
What was the question from that person? I'm not hearing the radio callers. What was his question?
He said he is an emerging entrepreneur, and he's into this e-banking stuff, something, and he wants, what is the way forward in obtaining investors to invest in his business so that he can move ahead or grow in that light. You're muted.
You can share my contact with him, reach out to him off the show, and let's discuss with him off the show. But as a general rule, right, as a general rule, before you start looking for investors in what it is that you're trying to do, the fundamental rule is this. Let's go back to the question that was for the show today, for the pop quiz, and that everybody didn't get. Even the person who just called in asking for investors in what he wants to do, the fundamental rule is this: a good business plan, a great business plan written with all of your objectives and everything in there. What makes a good business plan work is when you work the business plan. You've got to work the business plan for the business plan to produce the results, to attract the investors. So how can an investor be attracted to a business plan that has not produced results? What makes a great business plan work is when you work the business plan to produce the results. That's just the fundamental truth. What makes a great business plan work is when you, who wrote the business plan, when you work the business plan. Implementation. Thank you very much, Exotic Trumpet. Implementation. You've got to work the business plan. You've got to work the business plan so that when it produces the results.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, Mr. Phillips.
I didn't hear his question. Tell me what his question was. I didn't hear it.
He did say he participated in the competition that the Orange or Lone Star, one of them had, and he was unfortunate. His team was unfortunate to win the prize. But however, he has a business plan. But when he fell short in that competition was more like a presentation. So according to him, he lately joined us, so he was trying to acquire some insight as to how he can go about in obtaining sponsorship or partnership or whatever it is.
Well, again, I mean, you can share my contact with him, off the show. You've got direct access to me. You can share with me, share with him, and then we can talk about it later. But again, one of the things, I'll bring up this point. Okay, so Alex, I'm not trying to answer the question. Implementation. You got to implement your business plan. The other thing is this. The other important thing is this. Being able to effectively present your presentation skills. Write it down. Right? Very important point. One of the key parts of being an entrepreneur, we'll talk about this next week, okay, is your presentation of your business. If you are not effective in your spoken communication or your written communication, so you give me a business plan, it's very, very good. You come into my office, I say, okay, look, Paul, Peter, I'm going to give you 20 minutes. Sit behind my desk, have a seat, have a bottle of water. Tell me what this business plan is about. And if you wrote the plan, you did everything, you did the market research, I'm giving you 20 minutes. And within 20 minutes, you cannot effectively communicate to me. This is not about, I'm not asking you to write anything. I've got the plan. Present it to me, Peter. Convince me to put my $50,000, $100,000 into this business. Convince me. I'll give you 20 minutes. And you cannot effectively convey, communicate, present, articulate, deliberate your own business plan, then what are we doing here for 20 minutes? You're just burning 20 minutes of my time. So one of the most important things you need to do as a business person when you're writing your plan, you need to spend time in the mirror presenting, have 2 or 3 of your friends to sit at the table and pretend to be investors, and you practice the presentation of your plan. Because that day will come where you will meet someone at a restaurant and the person is sitting there, and the person will maybe hear you talking about something and say, young man, come and join my table. Tell me about this business you're talking about. And that could be your opportunity. But then if you're not properly prepared in your presentation and your ability to articulate, communicate, okay, and lay out that plan that you are so passionate about, you will miss the opportunity right there. So being able to effectively communicate and articulate your business plan and, whether it's with one person or with 4, 5, or 10 persons, that could be the detriment of your success. And it's not that the plan is bad. It's not that everything written in this plan is bad, but the person who's marketing the plan, the person who is selling the plan, is not effective in communicating. So effective communications is very important, especially spoken communication is very important as a business person.
Oh, time is fast spent. We can wrap up from here.
Yeah, so again, thank you so much to all of the radio stations that relayed the program across the country. Thank you so much for doing that, being our partners to broadcast this wealth of knowledge and teaching to small, medium-sized Liberian businesses across the country. Remember, small Liberian business is indeed the engine of the Liberian economy. But we need to listen, we need to learn, we need to grow through these teachings on every Saturday so that we can be productive, efficient, and effective, and most importantly, profitable, so that we can have a greater effect in this economy and grow the private sector. So that's why Business Talk is all about. Share the program, right, on your Facebook page. Educate and tell more people in your area about the program so that next Saturday you would join the program again for more teaching about how to present your plan, how to effectively communicate with your plan and be successful. And we'll go next week. We'll talk about some financial matters, also how to keep good records on your plan so that you attract you attract investors, and primarily your relatives abroad. So thank you so much, Rufus. Thank you so much for all the listeners out there. Greatly appreciate it.
This is where we provide you knowledge that you can use as tools and not to abuse, because there is a saying that says, lazy head make a man poor, diligent hands bring him wealth. Until we have the time again, God willing, next Saturday, have yourselves a wonderful and God bless day. Follow the rest of our broadcast.
Information and insights into various aspects of business and finance.
Hello?
Engage in insightful discussions.
Yeah, hello?
International business leaders,
But,
economists, entrepreneurs, and other professionals.
I need to add number text number to you. Yeah, yeah. We yeah, let me get a number. We get a number to text the number to you.
Valuable insights into business as provide successful entrepreneurs in and out of Liberia as they provide business strategies, entrepreneurship, and financial planning. Business Talk, the one-stop shop